Ladies and gentlemen.
Starting with the wows.
Welcome back.
What's up, everybody?
Episode...
God
62. All right.
We're at 62?
Yes, sir.
Jesus Christ.
This is our show. This is the Producer Lounge, folks. Brought to you by Always 400. We're going to sit here and chat about music production. What a surprise.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Who'd have thought?
Holy smokes. And today we have special guest, the Ghosthouse.
What is up?
Noise.
Oh, I'm so loud.
He made it.
Maybe I'm too loud. What's up, you guys? So happy to be here.
Fuck
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
man. Yeah, it's great to have
Good
you
to
here,
have
buddy.
you. Yeah.
This rules. I'm so happy. I've been so excited for this.
Let's go.
Huge.
Yeah.
Denverite.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
here in our hometown.
Denver, Colorado. Love it.
Repping
Twitch
hard.
Connect.
That's right.
Which is legit.
Met
That's
That's how we do it.
Met on Twitch.tv.
I know. What a beautiful little connection, huh?
It's wild.
It brought us together.
Start streaming, and
right.
a month later, here I am.
Yeah.
We made it, fam.
The biggest show on Earth.
Biggest show on Twitch.
This
right.
rules.
And Earth.
Real quick, excuse if the camera is not doing great right now. We had some technical difficulties.
It's
and
Dave's fault.
some settings, I'm sure, are not quite up to your par.
Yep.
But we'll
I
have
threw the
that sorted
camera
out.
across the room the
Yeah.
other day,
Yep.
and
We'll get it sorted out. The audio should be
I have an anger issue. so-
luscious as usual.
They said it was an unbreakable lens, and he was trying to test it. He also just happened to be mad, so he hucked it. It was, kill two
Yeah.
birds and get stoned kind of situation.
But he hucked it into the foam pit. So it's like...
A backyard foam pit, mega ramp.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. We're rich as fuck. We got a warehouse.
We got
Yeah.
a foam pit.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
It looks good. It looks crisp.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
It is a crisp
foam pit.
A crisp
Yeah.
foam
We
pit.
cut the foam yesterday.
Yeah.
All those angles are
That's why. Yeah, that's why it's so crisp.
sharp,
crisp.
boys.
Yeah, Rich did a backflip into it. It was nuts.
You want the right
guy's
cleavage
got
in the lens, they call it.
skills.
The cut in the stone.
That's right.
Indeed.
That's right. It's an artisan's trade.
Yep.
Anyways, folks, a quick shout out to DJ Fat Jive. If you're here, thanks for that follow. Big preach for that, my guy.
Sheesh, big sheesh.
Ooh, that was nice. That was a good sheesh.
Yeah. It's almost a full one.
It was super dry. It was good. So, Rich, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. So what do you do here? What is this? What are we doing?
We're still trying to figure it out, too.
we're making it up as we go.
A little bit,
Talking,
yeah.
talking production.
Yeah.
As you can see,
Specifically, yes.
each one of us has a pen and stacks of paper.
Mm.
So clearly, we have numerous notes in front of us.
A creative brainstorming exercise.
Which we will
Yeah.
be tapping on our desk multiple times throughout the show to encourage the audience that, yes, we do know what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we get into the technicalities of music.
Yeah.
All of us, tend to go to the philosophical side of music as
Yeah,
well.
it'll happen.
We get deep. Sometimes it just goes there,
This guy's got a little bit of a pussy on him.
Music.
A little? My pussy is huge, Dave.
You do have a huge
Jesus,
pussy. You're right.
Dave.
You're right.
Come on.
Music and deep thought go together.
It's true. It's not funny, guys.
Hashtag deep thought.
Music, kind of can put you up in your head sometimes, make you think things. It's like an acid trip,
No, that wasn't the button I was trying to push.
Literally. It's just a...
Are we doing slapstick here? What are we doing?
It went a little that way with that one. That was good. Though. I think it was good timing.
You showed up, you're like, oh, this is supposed to be like a professional podcast. What
We
are
are.
these goobers
Well,
doing?
it is a professional podcast.
We're professional.
Well, this is the producer lounge, right? And I'm an audio
That's
engineer
right.
first and foremost, so maybe I feel a little out of place among talented producers here. I've heard music from all you guys.
Thank
Heard
you.
music from all y'all,
true.
and it's
true.
been
It's
pretty damn good. So again, thanks for having me. But we want to talk production. You got some techniques for me or something? I feel like a newbie here. What do we do? Where do we start?
Usually we
It's
have
a big topic.
Yeah,
great
huge
question.
topics.
Usually we have a tip of the week.
I say before that, though,
Oh.
our audience may not know exactly who you are. Do you want to just give a little bit of information about yourself, your background?
Oh yeah, most
Even
people,
though we just talked about it, but...
most people certainly don't know who I am. No, hi, my name is Rich, and
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
Yeah.
I didn't mean to that.
I'm
Sorry.
There's a lot going on here. I love it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
just all over the.
Oh,
High
we're prepared.
stimulation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. here we go. So I'm a studio owner. I run a recording studio here in Denver, and I stream from the studio on Twitch a couple nights a week now. I've been doing it for a while.
Oh yeah.
Really just for a couple months, I guess. But mostly an audio engineer though. So I came here to learn from the producers. I came here to learn the tips of the trade. I want to know what it takes. If I'm trying to be a producer and then get my music heard in the world, what does it take? What do I got to do?
We want to learn from you as well, my man. I'm sure you got some knowledge up in there.
Maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just glorified songwriters with DAWs.
Is that all it is? Is it just songwriting with a DAW? Is that all it is?
It is
production.
Yeah. But it's different songwriting than if you just had a guitar.
Right into the philosophy.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah. Jesus. This is this.
What?
I'll give you my this is my diatribe. I think that I'm very smart about. When you make band music or traditional music, as we like to think of it,
Sure.
we make a lot of electronic music, so we're all in the box basically. But when you're making like music with live artists, you're miking shit, you're amping things, you're whatever, you got effects, you're trying to figure out how to position mics in a room, you're getting all this juicy stuff that you can work with.
Sure.
And your main objective is to try and get things to like sound like clean almost is like the deal. Is like you got to like let me make sure that I'm not getting like buzz from this, and I'm not getting that my gain levels are situated right and the mic is in the right place where I can get like the really nice sound out of the instrument or the voice or whatever. And with the in the DAW stuff, you're basically just trying to make it dirtier.
Yeah.
Because everything is very sterile as you're using it.
Perfect. Yeah.
So it's like it's almost like the opposite kind of a thing within the DAW versus outside the DAW, because you're doing very different objectives.
Yeah, I like dirty sound. So at first I'm like, I don't know. I like capturing a dirty sound, but a lot of what you're talking about is my day-to-day. It's making sure that there's nothing taking you away from the sound that's being recorded. You don't want you want a little bit of the guitar, the hum from the guitar amp, but not too much,
Right.
and you want a little bit of this noise, but not too much, and you're kind of keeping your eye on that kind of stuff.
Totally.
But yeah, you can capture dirty sounds, or you could dirty them up in the DAW. I love, I talk about it on my stream a lot. I love, the intense saturation and the distortions. I always want to crank all that up on everything. So I know what you mean on that end for sure.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Feels good.
We're all about that.
Do you know of Corridor Crew by chance? They're
Corridor
like a
Crew. No.
Yeah, dude, they're fucking sick. They're a YouTube channel that's based around visual effects for like movies and TV shows and just like fun, whatever, like 3D renders and cool stuff like that. And they were talking the other day about like CGI and that kind of stuff. And they were saying if the CGI is like taking you out of the story, like you see it and you're like, oh, that's like not fitting in a weird good way, it takes you out of the story in a movie,
Right,
and
you
it's
lose immersion.
Yeah. And we're doing
right.
like, of course, like I as like a musician artist was like, oh, how do I relate that to music? And I was like, the same thing. We're doing stuff in the DAW, like creating sounds, doing all this stuff. And if a certain sound is like too loud or too quiet or not dirty enough for the mix or too clean, whatever kind of thing, it can like take you out of that headspace of just like appreciating a beautiful song,
Right.
Yeah.
And that's such a balancing act.
Yeah,
it's
it
fucking
is.
insane.
It is delicate dance.
Yeah. That's been on my mind a bunch. Just like don't
Dancing?
well, dancing's always on my mind.
Oh,
Yeah. No, just
It is.
keeping that like vibe and that mentality. And that's what's kind of cool about it is like your mix doesn't necessarily have to be the sickest fucking thing. And your sound design doesn't have to be the best as long as it's like conveying an emotion and like giving someone that headspace or that vibe or that.
As long as the music works, right? Have you ever had that experience of going back to a song you listen to over and over again? You're like, oh, wow, I didn't notice this element sounds so bad. Like, I've had that in bands that I listen to and I love. And then, one day I'm listening just as an engineer. I'm like, this is an awful guitar tone, but it never mattered to me. I might have listened to it 100 times.
Totally. Yeah. There's songs I like fucking love when I was like first getting into music that I'll listen now and I'm like, what is that fucking high end? Or like, what is that weird hat tone that you don't notice?
If you like the song, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
True.
A great
Yeah,
example,
very good. You
and
got it.
also a terrible example is Fireflies. Who's the
Owl
guy who
City?
Owl City, yeah.
Oh, this guy knows.
I sung that at karaoke. I have a video of it.
Let's go. Yeah. I used to love that song when I was younger, and I hadn't listened to it in 5 years or whatever. And me and AT, one of my buddies, listened to it. And the fucking main melody, it sounds like it's like DC offsetting every single pluck sound. Like it's so clicky and in your face and like overwhelming. But I never noticed. And apparently like millions of other people also didn't care, you know?
And also got deaf. It shows.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff can make it cut through in a mix. You hear it on the radio. You hear it on a small speaker or
it's gonna
something.
cut through. It's gonna cut through. All right.
Something that sounds wrong isn't always necessarily wrong.
Thinking like an
Yeah.
engineer.
It's something I've learned in engineering.
Oh,
Yeah.
goddamn.
It's not always wrong, you know. Sometimes you want that thing to be too loud. You want it to sound. You want it to not be able to escape your attention, and something like that can do it.
That, especially if you're making tracks solely for streaming, where 90% of the time it's coming out of a phone.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, the
And
majority of people
you're-
don't have HS8s in their
right,
bedroom
you're-
or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but like in their car, they're going to listen to a podcast, you know, and they don't really, they're not going to bring their Bluetooth speaker everywhere, like in the bed. They're just going to sit there and scroll and listen to beats or whatever on their phone.
You have maybe 4 seconds to capture someone's attention. They can catch you anywhere in the song. You want there to be a bold sound.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's called the cool guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a little philosophy we like to.
Yep. You got to have your cool guy in
bring
your
about.
track.
Yeah, the cool guys.
There's always a cool guy.
Yeah, so when you're producing, remember, what's
Be-
your cool guy?
Be the cool guy.
What? Is
No,
the cool
like
guy?
in the track, it could be a synth.
Oh, like an
line.
element is the
yes,
cool guy.
exactly. The
Yeah.
element is the thing that comes out and is like, I'm the coolest guy of the song.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I
I'll
always
use that.
imagine it as like the rock lead solo guy who's just like,
Right.
Saxophone.
but whatever in like
Or
synth or
saxophone.
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 Yeah.
Anytime a sax player starts playing in a song, you're like, all right, this motherfucking cool guy. Over here.
Yeah, they-
exactly.
Shut the fuck up.
I like that. I'll
Let's
use
do
that
it.
for sure.
Yeah.
Cool guy in the song.
Have a cool guy in
I
the
have
song.
a cool guy.
Gotta have a cool
Just
guy,
for a
dude.
moment.
Well, concepts like that are useful because as an engineer, I feel like I'm always looking for ways to communicate things about music that are hard to put into words. That's kind of a good one.
Yeah, yeah. I like metaphors a lot.
They
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, they're sick.
Totally.
Um,
Totally.
We have a meat bag collector in chat.
What's up, me bag? Welcome back, homie.
Collector.
He says, people never say, check out my song. They always say, check out my mix.
Check out my mix. Yeah.
Which the mix is arguably the least important of the song / story is good.
You don't want to notice the mix.
I don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's. I don't think it's arguably the least important. I just think it's that. Like you don't want to notice it.
Yeah, exactly.
As a producer, kind of different story because I like when I hear like a weird mix that the
Oh,
producer
yeah.
intentionally. You're like, oh, sick. It's all
This is
panned, all
nice.
weird and shit. You know. But as the listener, yeah, you just want to be like, oh, this is a cool song.
Yeah.
Like you want to not be like, why is it so harsh?
It comes
You
back to
know?
the thing I was saying about the corridor crew mentality of
Right,
you don't
right.
want to take people out of the vibe of the
Right,
thing. If your
right.
mix is fucked up and gross and weird, it takes people out. You don't want that.
I agree with you.
The problem is though, you're talking as a producer from, I'm assuming maybe like you're hearing this from like Twitch streams or buddies of yours that are trying to figure out if their song is good.
Right.
You know, basically that's why they're showing it to you in the first place. They want to know if it's good. And the thing that they're focused on is the mix. And I'm with that. I'm
Right,
with that.
and in
fucking grind
that
on that
sense,
mix
yeah.
because I find it to be very important personally. I like a really, really tight mix.
Yeah, but you
If I
kind of
can.
it kind of does go hand in hand. Like if it's a good mixed song, but the song is shit, you're kind of just like,
Oh yeah.
why
Oh,
is this
yeah.
on this playlist? Like, what the fuck? This is so boring. Whereas you can have a really really good song, and it might be mixed in a terrible way, and it kind of is the same thing. You're like, it's kind of the two sides of the exact same coin. You got to meet in the middle.
I have a question for y'all. As producers, how much mixing do you feel like you have to do up front? Where do you want your song to be when you're done working on it for the day? Is it important to you that it sounds how it's going to sound, or are you just trying to get elements in there and see what happens?
Like literally at the end of the day, like just when I've
the
worked
end of
on it
the
for like a
day.
couple hours, or when I feel like I'm
That is
finished.
actually a good
I
articulation.
guess, yeah, maybe after you feel like you've worked on it enough that it's there.
I mean, I plan when I'm getting a song to the end, quote unquote, I want it to be like radio ready. Like
Right.
like nobody else has to touch it. It's good to go. Like
Yeah.
I've worked so long to have a fucking good mix that like I don't need mastering unless I'm trying to put it in an EP with other tracks. You know?
Sure.
I like that. I mean, I guess it's a roundabout way of getting that, where I feel like, the amount of work that's going into production now is, a lot of it is all the mixing. The production is all kind of one thing. You're doing so much on a level of sound design and sound selection and putting the sounds with other sounds that aren't you doing a lot of the mixing in the production?
Yes.
Totally.
You're doing both, yeah.
I say
Yeah.
I'll do about 65 to 7% of the mix by the time it's like ready for me to mix.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. And then the last like 35-40% I'll do when the track is done. And even then
Yeah.
I'm doing like 5% final touches in terms of like, oh, a crash needs to be here, but it needs to be pitched down. And then I'll be like, oh, I need a different shaker because this doesn't vibe.
Yeah.
But you don't really notice that stuff until you start mixing it. And then you're like, these things don't
Right.
work.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
But you might be changing out the shaker in the mix.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've done that in mixes. I've
Yeah.
I've added bass in mixes. I've
Oh,
done a
yeah.
lot of. I've
Oh, yeah.
snuck a lot of things into people's songs and mixes sometimes if it's
Yeah.
necessary.
I bet.
Yeah.
And I
I
love
bet.
that you have that approach to production, Caleb. And Dave, I know you're kind of like in a similar vein. But I'm in a way, I wouldn't say the opposite, but I definitely don't really give a shit about the mix when I'm like writing the track. Like the first 8 to 10 hours, I'll like generally level, maybe just slap on a compressor just to kind of tighten it and keep it level kind of thing. But I always like to like get the idea out and play with that and then go back and fine tune it kind of thing. But of course, along the way, you're playing around. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, this one element could use a little bit more of this, and you maybe like go off the songwriting course a little bit.
yeah, I'll get a
dick around,
mix.
but-
I'll get a mix 50% done when it's just a loop. Like it's 50% mixed. It's good enough for me to sit there and listen to it a bunch. Like not enough for me to print it out and like listen to it in the car. But it's enough for me to be like, all right, now I can just sit here and vibe on this and listen to it over and over and not get bored or annoyed because I have to sit here mixing it constantly. Like it's got to get to some point.
Yeah.
What about you though? How do you approach
Well, I
it?
almost have to do that where like as soon as I start getting the elements together, I start getting caught up in how they sound and balance, and then sometimes I feel like it keeps me from kind of seeing a bigger picture of it and the arrangement. And
Yeah.
I have issues with that as
Yeah.
as an audio engineer who occasionally produces.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I will go. It kind of looks like throw shit at the wall until I find something interesting. But I have an idea of how I like to mix already in my head.
At least with like this, we're making dance music.
Yeah,
So it's kind of in a box. Like you have a
Totally.
box
Sure.
to work in, which is
Yeah.
great.
yeah. I know. I want basically all of my elements to be very fucking crushed and big. I want them to be loud, and so I have a way I can go about doing those things, and that kind of lends itself to the mix process and at the end of the day. So it's kind of getting mixed there, just kind of naturally. And then I like the things to work together. So it's kind of getting mixed there as I'm making something. I'm like, these things work together, so I will put them together. So you're kind of skipping a little bit of mix there, but I'll get like loops going. I like it to sound good as I'm working on it for sure. But I will always, before I'm done, then print everything down and do an actual mix session or 5 or whatever to get it sounding actually like nice and crispy at the end of the day. Because I will inevitably have like some things that are just like launching through my limiters and like, or they're just way too quiet for some reason or whatever.
Sure.
And I like that like last step for myself to just be like, all right, I'm going to make sure that everything is correct in here and that you can hear things like you should and they're sitting in the space that they want to sit in. And really work on that like kind of room of the mix, like where the setting is for the whole song in
Yeah.
general.
Right.
I always struggle with the printing everything and like stemming it
Yes.
out kind of thing because
Same.
fucking right. Every single time I've ever done it, I'll hear like one part in the fill section or like some sort of thing that sounds like slightly off or slightly weird or something that I can't fix in just the stem. Or if I like, maybe you could, but like it's just
go
so much
back.
more work.
Go back and grab it.
You get attached to the
save
rough.
other files.
You get attached
No.
to the rough, and then you can't get back to how it was.
Yeah, dude. Every
I've had
single
that.
time I ever do it, so I just say
big time,
fuck it
yeah.
to that mix. Even though that's a great move. Like
It took me, fucking the first 6.5 years of producing, I would rarely
Totally.
flatten it unless I had to because
Totally.
my CPU was freaking out.
yeah,
Like I was terrified, and now it's the most liberating thing on earth.
Huge.
because you just commit and
Yeah,
move
I just
forward.
commit immediately. Like I'm like, oh no, this is fine. Like it's still there for me. Like I'll just go
yeah.
back and print it again real quick. I'll just print like 7 versions while I'm working on it.
Is that a follow? What was that?
Dang, with McDubs.
With the sub.
Can I get
Oh.
a whoop whoop?
Y'all are 400% cooler than a year ago because we all have hats.
Hat gang. That's
Hey.
true,
Yep.
folks. You'll notice every single one of us this week has a hat.
Yeah.
Seemed like the thing
It's
to
a hat
do.
pod.
Hat pod. Hashtag
That's
hat
right.
pod in the chat.
Welcome to the Hat Lounge. We talk about hats here.
That's
I have
not
a
true.
I have a 5-panel.
5-panel, eh?
Yeah.
I got a
we got
brim.
6
I got a
panels.
brim on this one, so
It's
Got a
sharp.
brim.
Yeah.
Mine's tan.
solid brim.
Stems.
Way to break it up,
We're killing it right now.
Mo.
Wow, dude.
Good shit.
We're killing it.
Everyone
dude.
got one?
Gotta
Yeah.
go with
So-
the brim, indeed.
Tip of the week.
Oh yeah,
That's
we
what
haven't
I'm here
done-
for.
Let's go. Let's go.
Does anybody have
Oh,
one?
you.
Oh,
Just gonna solicit one?
Someone have a tip of the week?
Oh.
Do you got a tip of the week, Rich?
Oh, shoot.
What's
Is
a-
it on me?
What's a
Put you on the
production
spot.
tip of the week?
Always be
from you?
producing.
And when we say production,
Yes.
we mostly kind of mean audio engineering and mixing.
yeah.
We're talking about in the DAW sorts of things.
Production tips. Ooh, I didn't
Yeah.
know I'd be called upon for production.
I know. We just put you on the spot.
You don't.
know if
I mean, you
have
don't
any.
have to do it.
I what do I like doing in production?
Yeah. What is just something you have been doing
yeah, what's
lately?
a go-to?
I like playing off of atmospheres, so I'll often kind of start with drums and then like a little loop of atmosphere and then maybe kind of like try to find a rhythm that kind of comes out of like the subtleties in that maybe.
Fuck yeah.
I don't know.
What's like what
cool
maybe
note.
like an effect that you enjoy using a lot?
In-
Whatever it could be, like compressor, saturator.
Yeah, saturator is my
delay,
go-to.
blah, blah, blah.
I mean, saturator is my number one. I'm
Okay.
in mixing or even in production, just to get the sound I want, I'm using the waves, the omni channel on everything, the saturation on there. And,
Oh, yeah?
it has a huge range of what you can
Omnichannel.
do. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 different modes of saturation on the preamp, and they get really extreme. Some of them sound really good. So yeah, I'm nuts with the saturation. It's on everything
Fuck
to the
yeah.
extreme.
Fuck
Often really kind of shaping the sound up front and in the mix. That's a big one for me.
We
Love
love
it.
saturation here.
We clip our balls off. So
There's like a cheat code. You
Here-
start doing that, you're like, wow, everything just sounds better.
okay,
I know, right? Yeah.
Don't let everybody know.
riddle me this. Have you heard of this idea?
What's up?
Multi-band clipping, multi-band
Sure.
saturation.
That's been around. What does that?
mhm,
Trash did that many years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Trash.
Yeah.
I haven't played with
Trash does
much.
do that.
Trash
Sure.
is
Yeah,
one of
we'll
the
just-
plugins.
You could do that on any multi-band. Kind
Yeah,
of thing.
we just kind of make it with
Yeah,
a
we'll-
multi-band
yeah.
splitter and just put clippers on everything, and you can tailor it all nice and juicy.
Clippers, I don't know a lot about. I feel like I need to dive more into that.
Clippers are clutch.
Yeah, I
They're
know that. I know
super
the
nice.
sound. What's a good one?
Good
Um,
clipper, free clip.
Yeah,
Free clip.
Free
That
clip
works.
is really good. It's got a couple different algorithms to choose from.
What DAW are you in?
I'm in Pro Tools mostly. Sometimes Logic.
Pro Tools.
Do you-
Okay.
Do you
Yeah.
know Melda?
Yeah, for sure.
The Melda suite.
So
I have
Wave
it. Maybe I
Shaper?
have it.
So M
Yeah.
M Wave Shaper, you can just
Ooh.
it's just
Yes.
a clipper.
I'll have
It's
to
the
load it up.
best
I mean,
one.
that thing
It's
is
so
sick.
good.
It's the best, yeah. And it has different. It has all the different algorithms you need.
Yeah.
It's the tits,
The user
dude.
interface like makes sense and it's clean and,
and it looks like
fine.
shit. Like if it,
I
if,
think it looks fine. Everybody
no,
always
it's good.
talks shit on
no,
Melda.
it's good. I think it's perfect. It's
It's
there's
nerdy
no
as fuck.
Yeah.
frills. It's
No
just
frills.
like here's the clipper.
Yeah.
The Melda ones, they all
Yeah,
kind of look the same.
yeah, they're all
Yeah.
kind of just generic,
Bland.
bland, but it's perfect
Like,
because
get
it's
the
such a
point
workhorse.
across,
That
yeah.
thing is on every track I ever put out.
Yeah.
I'll have to pull it up. I think
I don't even
it.
have it downloaded.
It's
I just
fun.
am using the fucking Bitwig one, but I need it. I need it for sure.
You're out of your mind, dude. You gotta
I
get
know.
that shit.
I know. I think about it all the time. I just am lazy.
Meatbag says use multiband before a compressor on bass. I have actually been kind of toying with that. I kind of put it either before or after, depending on what the bass is doing.
Use a multiband before, like a multiband clipper?
I think you're saying multiband compressor. He
Multiband
said
compressor
that before.
and then a compressor?
That. Yeah. Like multiband it and then compress it together.
That makes sense.
Which I would almost push that to another level and multiband it and then saturate it. Right. Instead.
Exact.
The saturation goes without saying.
Right. Yes. But in terms of the signal flow, for me, that would do it for me on most plucky basses.
Multi-band first, kind of even out the tone a little, saturate, kind of plump it up.
Right, exactly. Kind of tame it, and then you kind of give it some more hair, you know? And then you might need to compress it again.
That's right.
But you're not going to need a lot. You need a 2-to-1. But
yeah, if I'm doing multiband things, when I'm thinking about compressing afterwards or saturating, I'm thinking about like, I'll have like a multiband thing on there, and you got like this high section, this mid section, and this low section, and I'm probably like pushing one up or down and like adjusting like the balance of like the frequency content within there. And then I like to like then press against it to try and like even it back out to some extent.
Cool.
You're just giving it like a slight more even out after you do the multi-banding and the fun things.
Right, exactly.
Like if you're EQing too, if you EQ, do a little saturation right after the EQ just to make it feel like it's real again.
And in that thought process, when you saturate something, EQ it before.
Yeah.
It kind of can go both ways, like mentally.
That's the way. And that is the way.
Pre-EQ
even
on a saturator it's one of the most beautiful things to have fun with.
Especially for like bass sound design and shit. John, shout out Restraint. He's one of our close buddies who just is really into the sound design aspect of music, and he's been doing it forever. And he was the first person I ever saw do the EQ before the saturation trick and take like the fundamentals of your bass sound and just boost them like insane amounts so it affects the saturation in like a fun kind of way. And you can choose the harmonics you want to hit, and it like changes the tone of the saturation. And then you throw an LFO on it or make the volume go up and down and move side to side, and you get all this weird like movement and harmonic like just...
Yeah, we could show you some of that fun stuff in the dawn a bit.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good time, especially because, at least for me and what I've observed on the internet, like newer producers, one of the biggest things they struggle with today is sound design.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it has to do with how readily available samples are now with Splice and stuff. Like why sound design when you can just search bass and then just look up a sab, throw it in a sampler.
That's the reason why people kind of suck at sound design anyway. Maybe not suck. You have a little moth in here?
We're in the secret garden right now, dude. Check out my ficus.
Creatures fluttering by.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just nibbling on the ficus over there. Get off the 808.
Splice is a really nice thing because like it does open up this world of samples and like samples from artists we all love and like the cool thing, you know. But in a way, I can imagine it inhibits artists, you know, to not be like, oh, I don't have to make a snare. There's fucking a million really good sounding snares right here at my fingertips.
Which
I can
is
use.
Fair, but it's a really good thing to learn how to make a snare. Like it's not so you can go make snares later. It's so you just have a basic understanding of the elements that make up a snare.
Yeah,
which
it's understanding.
Will help you deconstruct other sounds out in life or out of your brain. So you can be like, I want a thing like this, and you're like, oh, I know I'm going to need 2 oscillators, one for this. I'm going to pitch this one on an envelope, and then I'm going to add white noise because I want it fuzzy, blah, 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 blah. And you just do all these things without thinking about it. But without any kind of proper direction, that's fucking rough.
Yeah. And I get it. Like, sound design is hard. I fucking suck dick at sound design.
If you want to get philosophical with it for a second,
let's do it.
Kind of the availability of splices on samples on Splice is similar to the availability of production in general. You know, like there's kind of infinite. I have clients I work with. I work with hip hop dudes. They ask me to produce beats. I won't do it because I don't want to compete with a million free beats on YouTube. And the time it's going to take me to make one thing with them, even if we just sit there for 30 minutes or an hour, we can look at 1,400 beats on YouTube. One of them is going to be amazing. It's on there for free. why should I compete with that? And I think the song will be better. Let them get what they want, unless there's something very specific they want. So it's, maybe that's just a certain sliver of production, but there's kind of a race to the bottom with production in general, where it's so widely available. People are putting their beats online for free, struggling to get heard. All their music online for free and struggling to get heard. I mean, everyone knows that,
dude. For real. Also, I love that you just said race to the bottom. That's fucking exactly
that
what it
sometimes.
is. That's insane.
Yeah.
We're all in this rat race for the fucking, like, more or less the lowest tier or whatever kind of thing.
I saw someone on
That's where all
Reddit. They were like 400 beats for $20. I go, how much for just the good one? He goes, LOL. What would it be?
Dude,
Do I need
right?
400 beats from one dude?
And it's kind of insane because, like,
Always 400.
these people who are, like, saturating the market with these, like, free beat tags and just download it, fucking use it, whatever. Like, I wonder how much that's inhibiting just the industry as a whole and kind of making things a little fucked up.
Yeah, but I feel like
The cream, baby.
evolution just works really well.
It really does.
Survival of the fittest, the cream rises always to the top.
Sure.
It's just kind of is what it is, and the only way to rise to the top is to stay in your fucking basement and keep fucking working.
That's true.
You
That's
keep
true.
working.
You got grind.
You got to fucking grind, dude. We talk about this like every episode,
time.
Yeah.
but you can't just do it for 2 years.
Yeah.
You might be able to if you're like really fucking good, but what happens if you stay in there another 2 years?
Yeah.
Oh
Right.
shit, son.
Meatbag actually just said something really interesting that Rich and I were talking about on his stream the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he said that
Tens of
there's
thousands
over
of songs.
Yeah,
every day.
40,000 songs uploaded to Spotify. And we actually fact checked it that night. And it's actually 60,000 songs a
Something
day.
like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. There's a lot of
Fucking
competition. That's just Spotify, and people are moving
That's
off of
just
Spotify
Spotify.
because you see what it's a sea of nothing to get lost in.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, people are looking for something else.
Yeah. Yeah. We put our stuff out on Audius.
Audius,
Yeah.
yeah. Y'all were putting me onto Audius.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
a bunch of hands
Dude, Audius is
in the ocean. That's how many artists there are.
right.
Build a submarine. Okay.
I did see an interesting
right.
statistic, whatever amount of time ago, because I was looking into the 60,000 songs thing, and I was like getting all butthurt and like afraid and like, oh my god, how could I ever compete?
Yeah,
Oh.
of course, every day.
And I saw something where it was like 75 or 80% of artists on Spotify have under 10,000 monthly listeners. So it's like you see this thing as like
Under 10,000, probably a lot of them have zero, I would imagine.
oh yeah,
Or close
yeah.
to it.
I'm sure a
It's-
huge amount are like very much down there. So it
Yeah.
also kind of gives you this perspective of like, oh, there are just a bunch of like weird, maybe even bots and like weird channels or people, newer artists are definitely putting out their stuff and that's okay. But when you think 60,000 songs a day, you're like, oh, these are all huge songs that are getting millions of streams and like
Yeah,
all this.
no.
But that's
There's
not the
like
case at all.
Maybe one a day.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like if you just fucking sit down, like you were saying, chill, make music, spend some time in your dark basement and just fucking learn to make actually sick music, you will be in that top 20%.
We
Yeah.
did this last week, I think.
You don't give up.
You gotta ignore the thing that is the oversaturation like bullshit that everybody feeds you because
You'll never be an
there's
artist.
40,000 songs uploaded every day. It's like, yeah, but there's not that many good ones. If you get good, all of a sudden you're sitting with a very small group of people. It's like I was talking to my girlfriend about it because she's in the same situation. Like within her industry, it's like oversaturated. People are getting paid shit, blah, blah, blah. But the really good people, they're still doing fine. They're out there and they're making moves and they're doing cool shit. But you gotta think of something interesting. Like
Yeah.
you gotta be interesting within the 60,000 songs.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Skills pay the bills.
That's
Yeah, totally.
fucking right,
Totally.
baby.
100%.
And you don't even
Yeah.
have to be like the Beyonce or the Justin
No.
Bieber of the
No.
thing. Yeah.
No.
Like one of my favorite artists on this planet is Tipper. And he's like not really that popular
Right.
at all. Like, have you heard of Tipper before?
I don't know Tip.
Exactly.
Dude, I fucking love him.
Very-
Yeah, check him out when you
He's
get
Very
around.
massive.
I'm see, that's
Massively
the thing.
huge.
I mean, there are a lot of people
He
with
is, but he
huge
isn't.
careers. A lot of people with huge careers who I don't know, you don't know, and
Yeah.
it's all of these niches. I saw a
Yeah.
video kind of spin around to Twitch for a second the other day. I saw a video saying that the majority of people making like an actual living on Twitch, like $50,000 or more a year just off of Twitch, have under 200 viewers. I think it said something like that.
Really?
Like you can have a small
like
audience.
an average of 200,000, or like
No, an average of like under 200 viewers per when they're going on there on a stream, right?
Yeah.
Under 200 viewers can make you like, you know, maybe not like a good living, but a living.
right.
You know, it kind of the point just being with a small audience, you can kind of find people sticking with you, and make it work off of, you know, kind of a relatively small audience. Sometimes even if you have 5,000 people watching you on Twitch, it's not like you're a household name. You know, people aren't going to know who you are, but
totally.
that's a big audience. You know.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you're Kenny Beats. Right, you're
Oh no, Kenny's like
T-Pain,
Kind of a household name.
But that's
Fine.
what
They're
he's
up there,
getting.
though.
He's getting like
Yeah.
2,400 to like 10,000 probably
yeah
per
sure.
stream,
Yeah.
That is
depending on
still-
who he's got on there.
That's a level above like 200 though.
Oh, he
Yeah.
had just said 5,000. But
Well, you know, there are a lot of obscure streamers with that
right,
kind of
yeah,
audience.
totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the music
For sure.
category, but
Right,
Yeah.
there are for sure.
Yeah, so-
yeah. The music category is kind of tough to get a lot
Yeah.
of streamers watching you.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's because the
You really have to find a
producers-
niche.
Yeah.
the producers on Twitch, like they're not many.
Yeah,
Like,
and
in
it's
terms of
usually
just
very
people.
niche. Like there's a
Right.
bunch of people that I really like that are doing Twitch streams, but like they're not known for Twitch. They're just people that are awesome producers that are also doing a Twitch thing on the side.
is watching production on Twitch interesting, or is watching celebrities on Twitch interesting? Are people watching T-Pain to watch what he's making, or are you just watching T-Pain to hang out with T-Pain? You know,
They're hanging out with
Yeah.
T-Pain.
because
Yeah.
watching production could be a little boring. You're listening to the same little
Yeah,
segment of
exactly.
audio over and over again.
Yeah.
Even with an artist you fucking love.
Yeah,
That's why
Like,
we have a
it can get
podcast.
boring.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's why we do this instead.
We're not-
Totally.
we tried the
Yes.
streaming the production thing.
Yeah,
Nobody
same.
is interested.
No one gives a shit.
Look, it's not that interesting unless it's really interesting, and it's rare.
Right.
It's rare.
Unless you're already established and you have like all destroyers in your chat who are also established.
Yeah.
And then half of the people in the chat are just other guys that you've seen on tour and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like there's really only 15 normal people watching
Yeah.
for like a big artist.
Right.
Is
still kind of a networking thing. Yeah,
right. And it's like, yeah, Twitch isn't, I don't think Twitch is very good for like production. I don't know how.
Yeah, we haven't figured that thing out yet.
I've been thinking
I don't
about it
think
myself.
People have.
Yeah, I don't know how it works. Yeah. Like maybe just like a mix.
Someone
Maybe
we
if you're
like a
just
lot.
mixing a track.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think if that's your main thing is doing the production side of things, that might not be as popular. But like if you're an established artist or you're someone sick on Twitch doing cool things and you have a day here and there where you're like, yeah, I'm gonna open up the DAW. I think that could get people more interested, and it makes it a little more like rare and kind of novel.
Right,
You know,
right.
It's like, oh, I'm doing this like once a month, opening up the DAW. Like,
Yeah.
be here for that if you genuinely want to see, and the people who do want to see will be there.
if people know who you are and they're interested in your music, they're going to want to know what you do. If you're just showing, here is production. Here is production.
Right.
Gaze upon my production.
right,
You know,
yeah.
it's a tougher sell. I
That
think.
and you either
Very
have
much.
to, it either has to be the beginning of a brand new thing or you're mixing it, because nobody wants to just come in the middle of a
Right.
track and you're just fucking with hi-hats for an hour.
Yeah, I've been wondering about all this
Yeah,
stuff.
like nobody cares. Like
Yeah.
people want to see you initially set up the beat from scratch, or they want to see like the nitty-gritty of like
Yeah.
the mix.
And dude, it's such a strange world that we find ourselves in. Like, because I think about myself like 10 years ago, and I never would have thought like the world of like Twitch production and music and shit. Like, it's insane how fast all these things change, and like,
I didn't
what is it
think I'd
going to
have a
be? And-
podcast.
I know, yeah, right? Because we have a podcast now, and we're all super into this thing, and we're getting cool guests and all this shit. It's like, what is going to happen in 5 years, 10 years, like
Well,
when this really takes off?
Well, I'll be doing this in the metaverse.
Yeah, I know.
Playing instruments in the metaverse.
No, we'll just have a better studio downtown.
In the metaverse.
In the metaverse.
No, it's going to be glass backed looking over Denver, guys. What the fuck are you talking about? With like
You guys will
three-
never know.
we have
you
three-
won't know
I
if
do.
it's real or fake. You'll
I
be
do
watching.
want the VR DAW though.
Yeah,
I want the VR
is sick.
DAW. I want to be like, here's what I'm envisioning. You can walk over your kick drum channel, right? And you can look, and you have it. It looks like a topographical map. Is that the right way to say that?
Mhm.
Topographical
I don't know.
Elevation.
elevation.
I don't know that word.
So you're looking at, let's say, it's like a couple feet wide or whatever
Yeah.
on the ground,
You got to draw it.
and
We
you got, and right, yeah.
draw
You
me a
got, yeah,
topographical map.
exactly. You got. I will draw it.
Visual aids on the podcast here.
Is it like one of those like heat maps of the mountains that you see? Is that what you're trying to?
It doesn't show up.
It doesn't show up on that TV.
Oh, really? Will it show up?
That looks like the church
Yeah,
EQ we
it'll
drew the other day.
show up.
Kind of can see it. Okay, you got a hump. You got this left side here is going to be your low end, and then you got that over on the other side. You got your high end, and you're looking at it over time. So it's like the kick
Right.
drum hits, and you can stand right where the kick drum hits, and then you can see it in the time that it is. The volume is the
decay.
elevation. Yeah,
Right.
The volume is the elevation, and then you got your frequency content wide, and then you have time going forward. And then you could look and go like, oh, what is this fucking weird ass frequency sticking up right in the middle? And then you could grab your little EQ tool that is just automatically doing automation for you, because you go, I would like to poke down on this little area
Yeah,
right
at
here,
this moment.
specifically right here.
Yeah.
I want to do that so
You walk
bad.
over to the frequency and just kind of massage it into place.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do some wizard shit over there. You're like
3D analyzer with the waterfall. Yeah,
That's exactly what it is.
I was gonna say, what is it?
the
Altiverb
water-
has something very similar to that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
it's that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
but
thing.
really
Yeah.
intense version of that. That's
Yeah.
a DAW that you're in 3D space
That would be fun.
working on some shit.
Yeah.
And maybe you're also, like
On mushrooms.
you're on mushrooms and you're in a meadow.
Yes. Yeah. You're just out in Switzerland working on your kick
Yeah,
drum.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're in Norway on
God
the
damn
side
it.
of some
Metaverse
fucking
don't sound that
shit.
bad. It don't sound that
Honestly,
bad.
yeah. And we
I'm
were
into
talking
it.
about before the podcast. We were all talking outside. We were saying like during the pandemic, there was like a huge boom on Twitch music shit, and people DJing and all this shit. And I remember vividly, it was at our very first house we all lived in. Bauer did a stream, and he had this weird like 3D stage set up and all these like cool things over the crowd and just weird psychedelic bullshit going on. That's fun for like a EDM
Yeah.
event,
Yeah.
And I was like, oh fuck, like this makes sense to be a thing that's like gonna be huge one day, and maybe it'll never like beat what a live event is, but like for the kid who lives in Norway,
If it's toxic to breathe the air, it might.
sure, yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, sure.
Looking at you, Congress.
Yeah.
But yeah, for like the kid across the world who maybe can't afford to like go to your show here in America or whatever kind of thing, they just get to tune in on Twitch.
Right,
And if
you're
they have a
sick.
VR set, if Twitch
Yeah.
does like
Hey.
VR shit one day, and then you're like in
I mean,
the metaverse kind of VR space.
I have a shirt from a VR club that
That's
I
right.
fucking went to. Actually, I've gone a couple times. Do you know what VR chat is?
No.
So it's a
no.
game, but it's like VR, but you can also just do it on your computer
Yeah.
in 2D. But you make an avatar and you're walking around in all these 3D spaces, and a bunch of people have nerded out and made like cyberpunk fucking nightclubs and all sorts of crazy nightclubs and shit. And they'll have like actual acts come in,
Yeah, like
and
big DJs
yeah,
come
and like
and play.
DJ with VR
This is,
stuff on, and
we used to call
everybody.
this like Second Life. This is kind of
Right.
something
I know,
like that.
right?
Yeah, dude. It's
Yeah,
sick.
100%.
It's weird.
totally what it is.
But you're
Yeah.
like, this is on the brink. Like this in 30 years
yeah.
is going to be like, whoa, you were there.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
at this thing. You're like, yeah, it was shit.
Dude,
yeah,
yeah.
there's
This is
a
cool.
whale swimming through the
Right.
club and fucking
And
shot
everybody's
lasers out of its eyes.
everybody's
and-
gorgeous or weird. Like everybody's either an
right.
ogre or like an anime chick who's just
Yeah.
drop dead
they're
gorgeous.
just an M&M.
Yeah. You're
They're
like,
the sexy M&M before they took it away,
right. Yeah, with the high heels. I won't forget.
Is that the green M&M?
Damn right it
Is
is.
that the, yeah.
I got it in the
The
spank
sexy
bank.
one,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Oh, God damn it.
Spank bank.
Yeah, no, I think I think people are definitely seeing the value of
Yeah.
events taking place online. You see, obviously going to be a big field of growth in the future. So yeah, you
Yeah,
can do,
it's
I'm
crazy.
sure, amazing, mind blowing things with visuals and with shows. If you figure out what to do, if there's space to be a pioneer in this area for sure.
Oh yeah, we're in history
Totally.
right now, dude.
Totally, yeah.
Which
That's
you
right.
can say about any
Roaring
other time.
20s. Let's go. Are you
Just
does it
making
ever-
history
Just
every
making
day,
history,
my
dude.
dude.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Dude. That's what history
or
is.
like I like to say, his story.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
that's fucked up, dude.
Praise the Lord.
That is so
Massage.
One Direction. You didn't include anyone else in that.
Yeah, come on, Dave.
Son of a bitch.
Guys, I'd like to say that
He's a hick.
if you're, feeling like you might be going to hell, all you have to do is this one time ask the Lord and Savior into your heart, and
We'll pray for you right now.
This is his mission to get on Twitch.
it is my mission to
Fuck.
get
I don't
you
think I'm-
to enter into heaven.
With the Idaho hat. It's brilliant right now. I don't know if you guys can read his hat.
I just am embodied
It's
by
from
the spirit
Idaho.
of Idaho.
Oh,
So,
Jesus.
Yeah.
I guess that's accurate for me to say. Oh,
He-
I think
Jesus.
I should stop saying things.
He went on a trip
Okay.
5
We
days
might get
ago,
canceled.
and he came back a different person. We don't know who this guy is anymore.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
dude. You got
All
a
right.
diesel.
You got a diesel.
You got a Dodge wheelie.
I wish I had a diesel.
Honestly. I mean, the gas
Did you
prices
say
kind of suck
Dodge
right now.
wheelie?
Dooley Dodge.
I got a Cummins.
Damn right it's Cummins.
Fucking right, it's a Dodge.
Fuck yeah, dude.
God damn it.
Built.
I don't know if you like Dodge or not, but we hate Dodge on this podcast.
Is that
no,
No, that's not a thing.
that's not a thing at all.
Yeah, also, I'm sorry. We do bits on the spot that don't make any sense.
Yes, we love this.
trying to find
It's
a place
hard
to
to
jump
keep
in?
up
I'm
with.
not religious. I'm spiritual. You know. I don't-
No, that's fine.
Let's go. Oh.
Well, I mean, if you want to go to hell, then you can stick with that. But the Lord and Savior you can be saved.
You can be saved.
Once
today.
saved, always saved. That's what I say.
Once saved, always saved. Is that what you said?
For a small price of $30
beautiful.
a month to the church, you can be saved too.
Yeah, tithe, of course.
Yes.
How else are they going to pay those tax?
If you can consider this podcast the church, though, and just give that 10%
Sure.
this way.
This is.
You just throw it on this way. We will pass it on. We will do the Lord's work
I mean,
with that money.
we're preaching right now.
Yeah.
We're preaching the Lord's
Goddamn
work.
right.
It is how to get your bass slapping.
Yeah.
That's
right.
the Lord's work. That is my
That
mission.
is the Lord's work.
Which is why we have Ghosthouse on. He's literally in the next realm.
God
Is the
wants your
slapper.
bass to hit.
Yeah. Bringing us the spiritual
Amen.
bass.
Preach.
Ah.
Preach.
Wow.
Lordy.
I do gotta ask though,
Please.
Rich, have you ever thought about like the future of music and like AI implementation in that?
Oh yeah, yeah. Talk about it on the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely been
Oh,
wondering
yeah.
about it because you see that in a couple of years. I mean, I don't know. Y'all been playing around with that image AI thing that's been big
Fucking
the last
Dolly.
couple months or two. I can't get over that thing.
Oh
That
my
is
god.
nuts.
It's yeah.
So you could just tell, show me a picture of a cat juggling 3 basketballs on a beach with,
Yeah.
in the style of, whatever, and it'll just do it.
And it gives you 10 different versions of that image.
And they're good.
Yeah.
So, you can see in a couple of years, we're not going to be able to tell if what we're seeing is real or fake. We won't be able to tell if what we're hearing is real or fake if it was generated by a computer. Why can't a computer, why can't it generate an idea? Let's say the way we make music, we generate an idea, we build on it. Why can't it generate the idea as good as a human, and why can't it build on it as good as a human? Do you
Exactly.
think we're there now, right?
yeah.
So,
Dude, totally.
why not?
This is something I always bring up with my buddies, all these buddies, and it's always controversial and great because we all have like differing opinions and whatever.
Buddies.
But I'm like fully on your side of like, I know it's sad.
Friendship.
I like 95% believe that we are like the
aw.
last generation of like human artist to exist, and
Bullshit.
I think we have around 10 years ish, 5.
Bullshit.
Before we're totally
Bring it
replaced by
on,
robots?
Yeah.
Computer. Bring
Maybe
it
not fully
on.
replaced, but dude, this shit is gonna be a bigger wave in a shorter time period than we've ever seen.
All
in
we're
all
gonna
of
do
human
is
history.
get rid of the riffraff.
You
All
think
the
so?
fucking pussies out there that can't decide to just like really grind for a long time.
I think they're all going to
It's
be
those
enabled by
people.
computers. I think they'll be able to exceed the capability of people who are talented, but maybe don't have all this shit figured out. Because again, what's if it takes me all day to generate an idea and a computer can generate 10 of them, what's the difference? You
Yeah,
know?
right.
It really is kind of that. It's going to become a numerical
not as
thing.
Right, but
satisfying?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the the artist still wins out in that scenario.
I disagree. I disagree completely.
What
because the average listener cares about the song. They don't give a shit about the artist, really. They don't give a shit about the time it took to put into that
They
song.
do. I think they do.
A Garth
Some
Brooks fan loves
do.
Garth Brooks.
Sure, but
Are
it
you
took
trying to
them
call
time.
Garth Brooks an artist right now?
No, not at all. That's not what I'm saying.
Wait, what?
How would you get that
I
twisted?
thought he was a serial killer.
He is.
Yeah.
I'm saying the first time your favorite band, your favorite artist, your favorite whoever, the first song you ever heard from them, you didn't give a shit about the person. You gave a shit about the song. That song
The
had
art.
an impact
The
on
art.
you. The art,
Yes.
not the person.
Right. The art,
The art.
which comes from the person.
Until AI
now.
takes over.
But AI is not making the art.
For now,
The person is.
we're in the stage of AI where
You
it's
can
like
use the AI.
you know the
but
game
they-
Pong, like the first ever video game. Of course, like we all know Pong. That's what our AI music capabilities are at. It's a Pong right now, and you give it some time, it's gonna be Halo Infinite in no time. You know,
Right, but
It's
it's
gonna
still
be
the same.
insane.
It's still the same interaction as
It
Pong.
wasn't that good though, Halo Infinite.
That's true. He's
okay,
got a
fine.
point.
It's the
He's got a
next.
good point.
Why can't I think of the shooter game?
It's a Twitch joke.
Valorant.
Valorant. It's the next Valorant.
Well, regardless of that, regardless of what graphics look like, that's just like fidelity. That's just the difference between like blues from the 1930s and techno from right now. You're like, yeah, it sounds better because it's cleaner.
I think these will be tools for artists for a long
think it's
time. I don't
that.
think we're gonna need to worry about the computers necessarily replacing us, but I think they will be doing more and more of the actual creative work.
Yeah.
You know,
I
it's
hope
not
so,
some
man.
magical
Love
thing that
that.
only humans can come up with ideas. I think we're seeing that very clearly right now. But they can use the AI to go beyond what they're capable of doing. If you could just tell AI, hey, make me a 70s soul sample no one's ever heard before. You know,
That'd be tight. I'd fucking
I'm sure it
use the
could do
fuck
it
out of
today.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
But like, if you right now you could have let's say an AI can make a perfect oil painting picture
Which
or
it can.
whatever. Great, fantastic that it can do that.
It's still not oil.
It's not worth the same thing that somebody who put the time and effort into learning to do that and did it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
And
like
that's-
people like to buy art from somebody that they like. They like that they can like connect with the human on the other side of the art. Sometimes they like to just buy the art.
Sure.
We have
You
a new
know?
generation of techno cyborg humans, though. So if you have a someone very smart at marketing art, they're going to come up with a story. It's not just going to be like robot made this painting. Here you go. It's going to be like there's a whole story behind what the software that generated this meant and who put it together, why, and there's going to be
Wait,
a whole
who
story.
put it together?
Well,
What, is a human getting involved in
maybe
this?
there's a human at the bottom
well,
of
now
it.
we're in a different realm. It's not AI anymore.
Well,
Race into the
it's a
bottom once
human.
again.
Well, all of these computers get put together by humans, though. The
There you
AI
go.
The AI just doesn't crawl out of the ground, so I
There you
guess
go.
it always comes back to
Shit.
Maybe the
Wow.
artist is the AI inventor.
maybe it's all from
That's exactly. Yeah.
up above.
I like
Yeah.
Lex Friedman's AI the best. Then
What did he say?
What is his AI?
No, he doesn't have one.
He is
Oh.
AI.
He is an
Um,
AI. That's for sure.
He is an AI. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that is
Shout out Lex
the
Friedman.
best point you could ever say against AI art or whatever. That's the point that AAT brings up every time I talk to him about this, is that he would rather have a genuine human being make the art, and he'd rather hear that opposed to to the fucking binary code making art, which is totally understandable. I get it. But the argument I always make, or like in this debate, whatever, I don't want to say argument. That sounds like shitty.
Basically, the robots of this world, the NPCs of our society, will love the AI music and fuck them. It'll be the people
Oh,
that
God damn it,
actually
no.
enjoy the art that are gonna like the human created art.
But the kids are going to be raised by robots. So
Yeah,
if
also
you
that.
grew up living your life inside of Roblox, you don't care who put this costume that you're wearing in the game. You're just happy it's there.
But 50%.
I bet you do.
It's 50% nurture, 50% nature. Like I started out white bread as fuck. I made it out alive. Like
made it out.
Yeah. I have tastes, and I fucking
Yeah,
can
yeah.
identify cultural aspects of people and fucking can tolerate other humans and can enjoy weird things.
It's a skill that
100%.
takes cultivation.
Yeah,
100%.
no, it's got to be conscious, but I feel like everybody has at least like 3 chances to break out of whatever norm they're in. Like they have high school, they have college, and then they have like their late 20s.
The actual Matrix is going to be a tough one to break out of.
100%. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. LSD helps a lot.
We're going so deep. I
Yeah.
love this.
But that being said, you know, you can't lose hope.
yeah.
Oh no, I'm excited. I'm
I'm
for the
excited too,
Matrix.
yeah.
Yeah, all this stuff.
I'm so excited. I'm also so scared though, because like I said before, I genuinely do believe that like this is the last age of the human artist. And
Well,
it terrifies
but
me,
what
and I'm
are
not
you scared
excited
about?
Nah.
You're scared about that?
Yeah,
How's
because
that
then
going to matter when
Nah.
you're dead?
it doesn't.
then
All
don't
of
worry
this
about it.
doesn't really
Right.
matter if you're saying it like that. Sure,
What you get to do
But-
is harness the shit.
Right.
I'm not harnessing anything.
You still have the
in that,
muse.
no.
Yeah, you do. You still have the muse. She's here right now.
Sure, I have the muse.
Who
I
cares
mean,
about
you're
the future?
harnessing the dick.
And
you know
some
what I'm saying?
people will like my little
Dang.
box of muse over here, you know, my little squishy sounds. Some people will fuck with it. But like
You
in
can't
the
think,
long
you
run,
can't
By
think
the
about it
way,
that way.
you're already using it when you're making your squishy sounds.
Yeah.
yeah.
When you scroll through the fucking preset,
Or random generators.
yeah, or the random generator on a thing, you're just harnessing the technology to find a sound that you like. And if it's
Yeah.
fucking quote unquote AI, which none of that shit is actually AI, it's not fucking thinking for itself. It's just somebody programming a computer program that knows how to
It's
go through
generative.
things and then decipher things and
Right.
then like learn from that stuff. But
It's-
it's not fucking
It's protocol.
yeah, it's literally just a computer program. It's not thinking for itself.
Yeah,
you know?
'cause we're in
It's
the Pong
doing what we
stage.
tell it to do.
Because we're in the Pong stage.
Regardless of that, you got to focus on what you can control. Enjoy the muse while she's here with you right now.
Yeah, we got
Like,
10
yeah.
years.
Hey.
Not only that, but inspire people to not give in to the AI. Why do you got to just be defeatist immediately?
Even if no
Because
one's
it-
looking, you can
because-
still fuck the muse.
It will
You know
be
what I'm saying?
better. Not better.
You don't need anybody to be looking at you doing
Yeah,
it.
you can't say better.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, there is no better. It's all subjective.
We're
Hits,
talking about
but-
art.
Art is
You don't need
still,
to get paid for it. No one needs to notice.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to
Fuck
change your
that
aspect. Yeah, you're making it
That's
for
fair.
you.
And yeah, at the end of the day,
You make
even
art for the sake of art.
let's say in 10 years, AI completely takes over in this dystopian future.
Mm-hmm.
I would still make art.
Yeah, I'd be in
100%.
Yeah,
Because
I'd
I
be-
love to do it. We all love to do it. We're all going to be.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully, you're still streaming on Twitch and you have 1 million followers. Hopefully, we're doing this podcast and we collaborate and we just rule the Twitch music
Yeah,
world.
we
you
have
know?
the fucking pirate ship anti-AI podcast where
Yeah.
we trash AI for a living, you know?
Yeah.
And then we have a group of artists that are like, yeah, fuck the AI.
and then AI is just kind of like sailing off in the background behind you. It's like, who cares?
It's
I'm going over
literally
here.
murdering
Yeah,
our
right.
family as we fucking do the podcast.
God.
Real quick before we wrap this up, Meatbag has an interesting question that I kind of want to get
Okay.
everyone's take on. If
Let's
you
go.
were to write an EDM track in kind of the vein of tech house, rave, or bass house with no kick,
Oh.
how would you approach it? Don't tell me like the whole thing. Just tell me like how would you approach it? Like what would you start with? Like would you start with pads? Would you start making an ambient track that has some kind of like here? I'll go first. I would try to kind of start with making an ambient track, and then I would slowly add more rhythmic elements of speed. So like an arpeggiator, some like percussion that's really kind of fast moving, 16s, you know, some kind of rhythm in that gen, and kind of start building from there. And then there'd be probably a good amount of snares, like not just your typical snare. There'd probably be like kind of like what G. Jones does, where he has like the break that's like being repeated, and it's just like the snare, like
Sure.
you know.
So we
kinda
can we
shit,
can
like-
use percussion, just not a kick.
yeah, just no kick.
No kick drum. Yeah, honestly, I
It's weird.
kind of
Good
like you
question.
said. That's kind of how I make my tracks in general, and it's honestly a huge fault of mine. But I always start with like an ambient like background, like zero.
That's like the last thing I
movement.
do. It's funny.
I know, dude. Yeah, it's weird. I have like a weird like painter's mentality where it's like I start with the background and work to
Right.
the foreground, and it always kind of like sucks because all my tracks always start with like weird ambient piece, and they slowly build, and you slowly get the thing,
Yeah.
and then the kick happens on the drop. But like as far as like making an actual song just with no kick, I guess you're just making like classical music or like
no, he
orchestral
says it
music
still
or
has to
something,
be
right?
in the
EDM?
vein of tech house raver.
Look, it's got to be
Oh,
dance.
still
it's-
EDM?
We're
Okay.
talking about dance music with no kick, which is sacrilegious
Yes.
to start.
Yes.
That doesn't exist. But if I was gonna do that,
But it's a fun thought.
We're trying to bring it
exercise.
into the world.
what I
Yeah,
would do
yeah, yeah.
is I would make a 808
Yeah,
that had
okay.
a very percussive little thing at the
Yeah,
beginning.
This is cheating.
It is
why
cheating.
you-
It's not cheating.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't
Well,
winning.
I'm not making a kick, baby. I'm
That's
making an 808.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then
a
you
great
know
point.
that thing's gonna be on the 1
Yeah.
and it's gonna
what
be on
point,
the 3,
That's gonna
baby.
At what point is your sub drop different
It
from
might
your
also
kick?
be on the 2. I don't know, or the 2 end, but it's going on the 1 and the 3.
I like this question. It is a good thought
It's a
experiment.
good thought experiment.
Totally.
Yeah, I see. So would this be played in the same context as other EDM?
I
I think
would
you could
assume.
play around with the expectation
You
that
have to
there would be
assume.
a kick there.
I
in the
think it's
context.
fuckable. I think it's fuckable for
And,
sure. Like I'm
uh,
intrigued.
Yeah, maybe maybe
Fuckable, that's a good.
instead where you'd have a big kick hitting, maybe try to have a big absence of space
Right.
there that you feel. You know,
Right.
A big contrast in the absence.
Yeah, see,
you
that's
know?
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
negative
Weird,
kick?
a
Negative
negative
kick.
space pump.
Yes.
Yeah, just like
Ghost kick.
yeah, ghost kick.
Hey.
And on that note,
I think that would be cool.
that's
Yes.
the end of the episode, folks.
Wow,
Ghost kick
We made it.
oh, it's so short.
from the Ghost House.
Yeah, it's
That's
a
right.
show.
We do an hour show.
Yeah.
Said it goes
Hour
quick.
to we kind of just feel it out, and to me, right there, that is perfect way to end
Beautiful.
Because then we can end on this thought experiment too, so our viewers can enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Honestly-
everyone go make some ghost kicks, and
I'm,
all of us
I'm
included.
definitely gonna fuck
make
with
some
it.
ghost
There's a couple
kicks.
Good ideas.
That's a cool question there. I like that.
Yeah,
It's good. Real quick, where can people find you?
Right. I'm right here on Twitch at _Ghosthouse. The Ghost House, streaming on Twitch Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights. You can also take a look at the studio. It's theghosthouse.co. And
let's go.
you can check out the studio, see some of the clients I worked with. There's some music on there. A couple
He's
pictures.
got dope ass studio, y'all.
It is dope.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
looks like a green screen at first.
Yeah, for real. Everybody,
I
check
actually
out this
thought it
guy's
was a green
stream.
screen.
People
check
have
out his
tested me
stuff.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Someone
yeah.
told me, someone's like, go pick up that guitar. I'm like, I'm getting up because you don't believe me.
I know. Yeah,
a lot of people.
dude, come on.
A lot of people think the same thing about this.
Yeah.
They're like, that's not
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, this is a green screen.
What
We're
does
like,
that
come
say here?
on.
Don't easy. You were like really close.
Sure.
But yeah, for real, people.
You break that 808, you got to buy it.
Gotta buy
you know
it.
what I'm saying?
That's vintage.
Check this guy out. He's super cool. It's the reason we invited him onto the pod. We
He's
were like,
great.
yo, this guy's sick.
Yeah.
He's down the street.
Y'all are too sweet.
He
Oh,
is
honey.
gonna be huge on Twitch one day. Give it some time, I promise. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. It's gonna be
I mean,
sick.
with the always 400 bump.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
400.
And
Of course. All right, folks.
We're not hearing anything, are we?
Yeah.
Now we're
Is that it? Are we out?
Dave is leaving early, but
that's about it.
folks, go ahead and go to always400.com.